Philadelphia 36-33. There's an asterisk because Jalen Hurts had a concussion. Kenny Pickett came in. Kenny Pickett was okay. Actually, his first pass was a home run down to A.J. Brown. Smart kid. He knew where to go with the ball. But so this is the second year in a row where a tire fire of a franchise. Last year it was Houston. This year it's Washington. A laughing stock for a decade plus. You bring in a new coach, a sharp offensive coordinator, a very good rookie quarterback who's taken second, and you're going to make the playoffs. And it's like, this is why the NFL is king. And if you watch Jaden Daniels, who ended up with 5 touchdown passes against the number 1 defense, Philadelphia, there was that game-winning drive, and there were some turnovers early. It was pretty choppy. But if you watch that game-winning drive, you're like, yeah, that's what a franchise quarterback looks like. And I just go back to this. It's one of the things. I mean, they asked this kid to throw the ball 39 times against a very good defense. And, Philadelphia had a big lead. So that's a tough environment. Great defense, well-coached team, good pass rush. I think if I'm, when people said, the reason I picked the Commanders to make the playoffs, I think it was every year I pick a dark horse team to make the playoffs. And the reason I picked Washington, and I said, if you go back and look at how bad the previous owner was, and the previous GM, and the previous coach, you had to clean out everybody. I don't know if Washington can win a playoff game, but I thought today, and again, Jalen Hurts' concussion is out. I think they're like Tampa. I think they're a really live dog in the playoffs. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, the quarterback's pretty remarkable. For his great, obviously Lamar Jackson's become one of the best players we've ever seen, but this guy is better as a rookie than Lamar was as a rookie. Now, in fairness, Lamar had only played a couple years in college. This guy was there for 5+ years, but he is much more polished year one than Lamar, and his game is somewhat similar, right? I mean, his legs today, he made some huge plays with his legs. And listen, Jalen went out, and that's huge. I mean, I'm not a big Kenny Pickett guy at all, but he's not playing Jalen Hurts. He's playing Vic Fangio and that defense, which is, I mean, not just healthy and awesome defensive line, and he was carving them up. I think he's blown me away. I always hesitate to think rookies are going to take the league by storm. It's why everyone, Caleb, I say this league's so hard. To do that at this point in time in the season, their season wasn't on the line or whatever, but they easily could have lost this game. Everything was going to be okay, and he just wouldn't let them loose. And he's throwing to guys, a couple guys. I follow this stuff for a living. I'm like, who's that? You got to Google him, right? And it's not Christian McCaffrey, it's his brother Luke McCaffrey. And Terry McLaurin's a really good player, but he's not Justin Jefferson. And those guys, I mean, those two look like Montana and Rice when they're connected. Their cohesion year one is just out of this world. And like you said, it is amazing, in football. So many people go, why doesn't Virginia McCaskey sell? Or why doesn't Mark Davis sell? It's like, guys, you would much rather have the $6 or $7 billion asset and live your life through the asset, which is going to be completely the same as having all the cash, and you have to give half the cash to the government, and no one then cares about you, and you're completely irrelevant. These people don't sell if they don't have to. Dan Snyder basically had to. They got lucky that it all played out that way, and they just got a real franchise again. But what really separates you, Dan Quinn's clearly solid, is when you get a special quarterback, it changes your franchise forever. Look, I think Sean McDermott's good, and their GM is good, but Josh Allen is the reason that the Bills are the Bills, right? And this guy is going to be the reason that this franchise. I mean, if you had to pick a quarterback for the next 10 years in that division, you wouldn't hesitate to pick Jaden over Jalen. And Jalen's a good
I'd
player,
take Jaden Daniels.
Right? And obviously, Dak's a good player.
Jaden's better already, I think. I trust him more from the pocket.
And I'm not even talking money. I'm saying if they all made the same amount of money, if all things were equal, I know one guy is on a rookie contract. I'm saying even if that didn't exist, you would take him. I mean, his physical characteristics, Jalen's a good runner. This guy's a much more explosive runner. Jalen's more of a power runner. And like you said, his accuracy, that was one of the things coming from college. He was great deep ball thrower. Well, yeah, he had Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas. I mean, two guys that have a chance to be like all pro players in the NFL. You're like, how's this going to translate to the NFL? And it is because it's like third down plays, accuracy over the middle. It's obviously he can throw the go route, which he has done all season long. But like it'll be 3rd and 7, it'll keep a play alive and hit Ertz or someone over the middle. You're like, damn. And Kingsbury, what a great hire. And gets back to ownership. What happened? The Raiders only offered him a 2-year deal. They were kind of lowballing him. The new owner comes in, hey, we'll guarantee you 3 years, $10 million. Come here. Come work with the number 2 overall quarterback. Cool, I'm there. So it's like we don't talk a lot. We do that a lot with like free agency, or you shouldn't trade it up for this player in the draft. But coaches, Mark Davis would only offer him a 2-year deal. Why? Because Mark Davis knew that he might fire his coach. Well, if you're going to live in that world, you're going to lose out on a guy. Now, would that have changed much for the Raiders? Who knows? But Antonio Pierce wanted him. And then all of a sudden something changes and he's with Washington. And safe to say that was a huge moment for the franchise landing Kingsbury, because he's so good with these running and mobile quarterbacks. I mean, that's rookie of the year. Is it even a question now, or him, Bo Nix? Because I thought Bo Nix had kind of surpassed him, and it feels like Jaden after this
Well,
win.
and it does matter that Washington's in that Cowboy Philadelphia Giant division. Those are big games. It's Bo's playing against Mahomes, but I think sometimes Jaden got off to a hot start, and Jaden's is closing it with dramatic wins. So it probably now is back in Jaden Daniels' court, but. You can do so many things right in this league, and if you don't have quarterback right, you're screwed. It just doesn't matter. And, a great example is the Colts. I think they have a really good roster, but, they won a game today with 7 completions. Like Anthony Richardson, I was texting an executive in the league today, and I'm like, you got to go after Sam Darnold. You can't win in this league completing 7 and 8 passes. You can tell by what a coach calls, what he thinks of his quarterback, and like the Colts don't want to throw the ball. They just don't want to throw the ball. So when I look at Jaden Daniels, I think the thing that blew me away day one was I remember early in the year, they were having him throw from the end zone. And Sean Payton has Bo Nix throwing from the end zone. Like Kingsbury doesn't care. He'll have that kid at the 4-yard line roll out in the end zone. He doesn't care. And like what you're telling me is he's a veteran. And by the way, I saw Michael Penix today. He looked like an 8-year vet. He had a pick that wasn't his fault. Atlanta dropped some passes, but I watched Michael Penix today. And again 34-7 over the Giants, but 18 to 27, couple hundred yards. You could just see the poise and the accuracy. I thought Penix looked pretty good. I thought twice he threw the ball away, and I was like, oh, yeah, he even had acumen, and like he was very quick. Very quick. He's got these mitts for hands, so he can almost palm the ball. He's a pocket quarterback, but I don't look at him like Goff or Tua, because just the way he played in crappy outdoor weather at Indiana and Washington, he's got huge mitts. I think his ball cuts through rain and wind. But I watched him today, and it was sort of like, even when he was throwing the ball away, it was like, oh, he's totally under control. That was this week's Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Uber Eats as the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL.
Eagles Nest News, the hard-fought loss against the Commanders, a closer look at the game. Welcome back to Eagles Nest News. Today, we're diving into the aftermath of the Philadelphia Eagles' heartbreaking loss to the Washington Commanders. The Eagles were riding a 10-game winning streak, but that came to a dramatic halt in a 36-33 loss that had more than its fair share of ups and downs. Let's break down the key moments of the game and why the Eagles, despite the defeat, should still be optimistic moving forward. The game's turning points and key moments. The Eagles looked like they had the game in hand, but a series of unfortunate events allowed the Commanders to stage a remarkable comeback. In the final minutes of the game, Jaden Daniels delivered a perfect throw to Jamison Crowder for a touchdown with just 6 seconds left on the clock. That 5th touchdown pass helped the Commanders snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. This stunning turn of events ended Philadelphia's winning streak, but it wasn't for lack of effort. Quarterback Kenny Pickett, who had a strong game overall, suffered a rib injury during the game, which raised some concerns. However, Pickett reassured fans in a post-game update, saying that while he did get x-rays, he wasn't worried about his status going forward. It's a relief to know that he will likely be good to go in the upcoming weeks. A missed opportunity and a drop that haunts. One of the most painful moments for the Eagles came when DeVonta Smith, one of the most reliable receivers on the team, dropped a key pass on a crucial third down. It was a catch that many would have expected him to make, but unfortunately, it slipped through his fingers, leaving the Eagles with a missed opportunity. Smith owned up to the mistake, showing maturity and grace in his comments, saying, "I dropped the ball. I ain't going to beat myself up over it. It's life, part of the game." Head coach Nick Sirianni also took responsibility for the loss, pointing to the team's overall sloppiness. From penalties to miscommunications, it was clear that the Eagles didn't play their best football. Sirianni himself admitted that when your team is sloppy with every piece of that, it's on the coach to get them ready. It's a humbling moment for the Eagles, but it's something they can learn from and build on. The Commanders deserved credit. Let's not forget that the Commanders earned this victory. Despite being on the wrong end of 5 turnovers, including one late in the game, they never gave up. Rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels stepped up in the clutch, making critical throws and showing poise under pressure. His confidence in those big-time moments was exactly what the Commanders needed to secure a win. It was a tough loss for the Eagles, but credit where credit is due, Washington made the plays when it mattered most. Looking ahead, Eagles still in a strong position. While the loss stings, there's still plenty to be optimistic about for the Philadelphia Eagles. They're a talented team, and despite some mistakes, they proved they can hang with top-tier opponents. The defensive line remains one of the strongest in the league, and their offense, led by Pickett, is still potent. Nick Sirianni will surely make adjustments to clean up the sloppiness, and DeVonta Smith will no doubt be working hard to ensure that the drops don't become a recurring issue. The team has the talent and the leadership to bounce back strong from this loss, and they'll be looking to get back on track next week. Eagles will learn and come back stronger. This loss doesn't define the Eagles' season. They've proven over the past several games that they are one of the most complete teams in the NFL. If anything, this defeat should fuel them even more, as they'll be looking to correct their mistakes and come back with a vengeance. Philadelphia has the grit, the talent, and the leadership to stay at the top of their game. A setback like this is just part of the journey to success. What do you think, Eagles fans? How do you feel about the loss, and what adjustments do you think the team should make moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Eagles Nest News for more updates, analysis, and coverage on everything Philadelphia Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.